All right, welcome back. Today, we've got something a little different, a real head-scratcher. It's just a file, known only as unit2.pdf. We're going to dive right in and see what secrets we can pull from its pages.
Seems like a pretty simple question, right? But, with a document like this, sometimes it's the simplest questions that end up taking you on the wildest journeys.
Now, I have to be honest with you. When I first cracked this thing open, I was expecting, your standard analysis. But what I found was something else entirely.
Okay, first up, our mysterious source. You always have to start with the basics, right? So let's just lay out what we actually know for sure about this file.
And really, it's not much. What we have is a 12-page document. Its name, Unit-2 PDF. And that's it. That is literally the only clue we have to go on right now.
All right, now we get to the good part. I'm calling this section the empty pages. This is the point where I thought, okay, here we go. Let's get into the data. Let's see what the story is.
My process is pretty much always the same. You examine the key data points, go page by page, and start to build a picture of what's going on.
But when I pulled it up, the first page was, well, it was blank. And I thought, okay, no big deal. Maybe it's just a cover sheet or something.
Then the second page, also blank. Okay, that's a little more unusual, but, not totally unheard of. I've seen weirder formatting.
And then the third page. Yep, you guessed it, blank. It was at this point I realized, something really, really strange is going on here. It seems there's a pattern, doesn't it? And yeah, there absolutely was. I clicked through the entire document, all the way to page 12, and every single page was just like the first. Completely, totally empty.
So what does that mean? There's no data, no text, no charts, no images, nothing. The content of this document is the emptiness. And that changes everything. We're not analyzing information anymore. We're analyzing the absence of it.
Honestly, this is fantastic. Our whole explainer just took a hard left turn. We went from a simple document analysis to a full-blown mystery. So if the blankness is the point, then what is the point?
This is the real question we have to tackle now. Why would anyone bother to create and distribute a 12-page, completely empty document? Let's explore some possibilities.
So, there are basically three main theories floating around. Theory 1, it's just a simple technical error. A corrupted file or something. Plausible? Sure, but also kind of boring. Theory 2, it's a redacted document, where everything inside was so sensitive they had to just wipe the whole thing clean. And then there's theory 3, which, I gotta admit, is my favorite. It's an intentional, artistic, or philosophical statement. And the funniest part? The evidence for all three of these wildly different ideas is exactly the same. 12 blank pages.
If we run with that third theory for a second, this quote from the poet Rumi really seems to fit. The quieter you become, the more you're able to hear. Maybe the document isn't empty. Maybe it's just quiet. Maybe it's trying to get us to stop and actually listen for a change.
And I think this really gets to the heart of it. What if the whole point of Unit 2 PDF isn't to give us answers at all, but just to give us a space to think? A blank canvas, totally free from data, free from opinions, free from all the noise.
So let's try and pull this all together in our final section. What absence teaches us. What can you possibly learn from a document that literally contains nothing? Well, as it turns out, quite a lot, actually.
Look, we're probably never going to know for sure if this was art or just an error. But maybe that is the point. The document is kind of like a mirror. Our struggle to find meaning in this void, it probably tells us a lot more about ourselves than it ever will about the file. Our brains, right? They're hardwired to find patterns. We look for signals in the noise. So when you give us pure silence, we just start making up our own patterns. This whole analysis, it was never really about a PDF file, was it? It was about how we, as humans, interpret a total lack of information. That empty space just becomes a reflection of our own thoughts. Just think about it for a second. We are drowning in alerts, headlines, data, just constant noise. Maybe Unit2.pdf is a quiet little rebellion against all of that. Like a little digital Zen garden, A moment of pure, uninterrupted calm.
So I'll leave you with this question. What is the value of empty space? When you finally get a moment of silence, what brilliant ideas come rushing in to fill it? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this very unusual explainer. I'll see you next time.